Blackshear. This is Sammy Dixon saying thank you. Thank you very much for your business.
Are you thinking of selling your home or business? Hi, I'm Gloria, and as a realtor, I know that getting rid of the clutter in your home is one of the best ways to help sell your house quickly. At Jessup Premium Storage, our family-owned company provides a convenient and secure building for all of your storage needs. We now offer outdoor covered parking for that antique car, boat, or RV. Due to our recent expansion, we offer units that range in size from as small as a bedroom closet to as big as a one-car garage. All of our units are inside and climate controlled with 24-hour access and security. Our leases run month to month, so you're not locked into a long-term commitment, giving you the flexibility to move your belongings out the minute you purchase your new home. Stop by today or give us a call, 530-8003. That's 530-8003. Jessup Premium Storage.
The cool, clean, and secure.
Are you thinking of buying or selling your home? This is Kelly Lamb with Parker Insurance and Realty, your local source for all of your real estate needs. With this being one of the most important decisions you'll make in your lifetime, I would like to use my expertise to personally assist you through this process. At Parker Insurance and Realty, we offer a full range of real estate services, as well as any insurance you may need. Give me a call or stop by and let me answer any questions you have on selling your home or purchasing your new home. Call Kelly at Parker Insurance and Realty, 427-9345. That's 427-9345.
All right, 3 minutes after 8 o'clock. Good morning. You're listening to The Big Dog, WIFO-FM in Jessup, 105.5 on your FM dial. Wednesday morning, the 11th day of May. Butch Hubbard here with you. Lots of sunshine today, mostly sunny. High today, right around 89 to 90 degrees. Another warm spring day here in southeast Georgia. The audible harbor level is at 7.5 feet and falling. It is now time for the world-famous Butch and Bob Show, brought to you by Mike Birch Ford in Blackshear, Jessup Premium Storage out here on the Waycross Highway, and by Parker Insurance and Realty on Macon Street in downtown Jessup. Bob, campaign continues, and we've got someone running for state senate in this morning with current state senator.
And we got another race that everybody's following is the Senate race in District 19. Senator Tommy Williams retiring at the end of this year after 20 years up in Atlanta, and Blake Tillery, one of the candidates with us, and there's the Donald Trump, Hillary Clinton, and then there's the Devil's Dutton, Blake Tillery. I don't know what, I mean, it's getting kind of ugly, isn't it, Blake?
I hope that I haven't been ugly, but I've seen it, and sadly, I've been on the recipient end of a lot of it. And I've really enjoyed meeting the people in Wayne County and Long County and all around this area, and I look forward to keep doing that for 14 more days.
Why do you think it's getting that? We talk about it all the time, statewide, nationwide, it seems to be dirty Paul, locally, that never seems to work. They just stick to their issues, say, this is who I am, this is why I'm running. So,
well, I hope I'm doing that. I'm still talking about taxes, talking about infrastructure improvements, the fact that here we sit 30 miles from the Port of Savannah, and that we ought to be able to recruit some of those jobs that are driving up 341 and driving up I-95 and being able to hold them here in Wayne County.
Well, the man to your right, you have his endorsement. So what's that mean to you? Like I said, you've known him for a long time.
Senator Williams has been a great friend. He's been a friend not only to me, but he's been a friend to Wayne County. And I'm really thrilled to have his support. His shoes are too big to fill. If anyone thinks that I'm going to be able to fill them on day one, they're wrong. But I do hope that I can live up to his legacy of continuing to keep taxes low for people here, continuing to help make infrastructure improvements, and continue to help locate jobs.
Tommy, you've been in there in Atlanta. Last time I saw you was the post-legislative forum, but you're taking some criticism because people are saying you're trying to handpick your successor. Your thoughts on that?
Well, I'm concerned that you've got somebody who can get things done. And Blake worked for me at the Capitol for several years, and he's done an excellent job as county commission. When I vote for somebody for a House seat or a Senate seat, I want somebody who's got some upside potential, somebody who could be the governor one day, or somebody who could be a leader in the Senate, or somebody who could be the Speaker of the House. We need some leadership in Atlanta. I've been able to lead in Atlanta. I was a majority leader in the Pro Tem. I'm looking for somebody with some potential. I think Blake has that potential.
And with Delvis, you worked with Delvis. He was up there for several years, and at the time, perception was that y'all got along pretty good. So, are you surprised that this is all taking place, or?
Well, I would just tell you. I was in the minority for a while. When I was in the minority, I voted no a lot. But when you're in the majority party, you got to govern. And I'm not sure that that'll happen with Delvis. He's more of an opposition guy. than a consensus guy. And, you pick your battles, but at the end of the day, if you're going to lead, you got to be for something. You just can't be against everything. So I think Blake can do that. And frankly, I've been there. I know what it takes to build consensus. One of the problems in Washington is they all blame the other side, and nothing gets done. That's not how to govern. It's hard to govern. And I'm interested. It's not picking a successor. This is not my seat. This seat belongs to the people of the 19th District. It's trying to make sure they have the opportunity to choose somebody who can actually accomplish some things in Atlanta.
And just joining Senator Tommy Williams joins us, also a candidate for a Senate seat, District 19, Blake Tillery. It all began, an unfortunate situation occurred, and, they said Tommy came and got you out of bed and got you out on the campaign trail, and that was said he thought that was just too early for you to be on the campaign trail after something like that happened. So he was here to address that. You want to address that?
No, thank you for bringing it up. As many of you know, I married a girl from Wayne County on April 2nd. Absolute happiest day of my life. And then I guess 8 days later, was involved in a very tragic auto accident. Absolute lowest day of my life. And this campaign has seen both. It certainly changes the way it changes everything. It changes, I said it last night, the color of the sky and the color of the grass. Everything looks different. And it makes you view people differently as well. You see, because you're hurting, and two families in this are hurting, and I ask listeners, please do keep two families in your prayers, because this affected two families. Don't just pray for me, pray for both. But you see people differently. You realize that people are hurting, and you realize that they don't care necessarily about how many signs we put up or how many radio ads we run. They care about their kids' t-ball games. They care about making sure they're making the next bill payment. To say it hasn't affected me would be an out farce. It truly has, and it changed. I hope it made me a better person. It definitely made me see hurting people differently.
Is it coming up on the campaign trail at all, or are people just talking about issues?
I'm sure. I mean, there's been. I think my opponent sent out a mailer about it.
I'm talking about when you're out there on the campaign trail, when you meet people, do they even bring it up, or do they just talk about issues, or
Both. And I'm not gonna. It happened. I'm not gonna shy away from it and pretend that it didn't. It did, and it definitely changed my view of others and changed the way you view pain and suffering.
But Bob, anybody leaving home in a car can have a tragic accident. Blake was not texting, talking on the phone. It's an accident. Accidents happen. Tragic accidents happen. And most people understand that. Now, the unfortunate thing in a political race, it becomes fodder for the campaign. It's embellished to be something that didn't actually happen. And that's the frustrating thing about for a candidate and their families, is when they have to defend something that's not true. Mr. Dutton just sent out a mail piece this past few days to the district on me. I'm not even the candidate, claiming that I went bankrupt on the businesses in Georgia some years ago. I have never been bankrupt, nor do I ever intend to go bankrupt. God's blessed me with a fairly good business mind, and I've been able to pay my debts over the last 40 years that I've been in business. But to try to make fodder out of a complete fabrication is just, it's a new low in campaigning. It really makes me glad I'm getting out of politics, because campaigns have gotten extremely dirty, and lying doesn't seem to be a negative anymore. So, but anyway, we're trying to say, you build your reputation and you try to at least protect it if you can. But anyway, it's unfortunate. Some of these things are happening to Blake regarding the accident. I'm hoping that we can, for the rest of the time, talk about some issues. Blake and I were riding in this morning. I said, Blake, one of the things I've been able to do for the county is the road we're riding on used to be a 2-lane road, and you have to follow log trucks, and it was very dangerous. And it took a lot of work, and it took a lot of good relationships. It took working to be the chairman of transportation to make sure that that project and other projects happen. Those things don't happen if you can't build relationships with the leadership or either become a leader. And those are the kinds of things that are important for the future of Wayne County, is that you're able to build good relationships in Atlanta to make things happen.
It's a three-candidate race, all three on the Republican ballot. I know it's a big district. You were here last time talking about how big it is. How's the travel? I mean, it's, what, 18 counties, is that right?
11 counties.
Yes, sir. So I probably will need a new set of tires in the next couple of weeks.
I mean, to explain to people how far the district goes. Where
it's I'll name all 11 counties for you if you want me to, Bob.
Yeah.
Treatland, Telfair, Wheeler, Montgomery, Toombs, Jeff Davis, Appling, Wayne, Long, half of Tatnall, and a little bit of Liberty. So if anybody listening's got any friends out there, if you don't mind calling them and saying, I heard that redheaded boy speaking on the radio, and he's not nearly as bad as I thought he'd be, I'd appreciate their vote and support on May 24th, or if they go vote early. You can vote this Saturday as well.
Well, like I said, you're here to talk issues. Let's talk issues for the district. What does district do? What do you plan? If you get elected, what do you hope to accomplish? What are some things you'd like to see done for the district?
I told you this last time. When I ran for county commission, I kept it simple, probably because that's all I could only – I'm not that complicated of a person. I ran on a platform of trying to pave some dirt roads, saying if we're going to recruit business, the cities and the counties at least have to be able to get along. And we don't need to be raising taxes during the middle of the worst recession. When I ran for office in Toombs County, we just raised the millage rate. I've been elected for 4 years, and we've reduced the millage rate every year I've been in office. Same thing at the state level. If we have a tax climate and the infrastructure in place that are conducive to business, then those jobs that we see that drive up 341 don't have to. They can locate here. If we have infrastructure is more than just roads now. Remember, it's natural gas, it's fiber, it's internet access. Children today are willing to live, they're looking for free time. They're willing to live anywhere they can have free time and have a good quality of life. If we have the fiber and access in place, then they don't have to live in Charleston, Savannah, Jacksonville. They can do their jobs here. They can be a graphic designer and send those things to New York from Jessup. And if we have those infrastructure in place, then those jobs can locate here. So that's what you'll see me continue to talk about if I'm blessed enough to win this seat, is let's have the tax climate. Remembering, we're not spending our money. We're spending other people's money when we do things in Atlanta, and even when we do things in Wayne County or the Toombs County Commission. Remembering that if we have the infrastructure in place, jobs can locate here.
Any chance there's a debate between three candidates? I saw on Georgia Public TV was doing congressional debates this past weekend. Is there a Senate debate?
There was one that they tried to organize early on. The Republican Party here, Mr. Jeffers, called me about it, and I think that kind of fell apart because what you'll see is that not only is running for office hard, but trying to put together a debate is pretty darn hard too. And
three different people from three different counties.
Right. I'd be, if anyone wants to speak, I'm always interested to be there. But I don't think you're going to see anything from us this time. But that doesn't mean you can't talk to us. I've been very free to give out my cell phone number. It's 912-245-9915. If anybody has any questions, feel free to call me. I don't mind. I actually appreciate it because it does two things. One, it allows me to talk to someone who we know is going to vote. If they're taking time to call me, they're going to vote. And two, it lets me see their side. Everyone has a story. And although I may have some ideas, if someone else has different knowledge in that area, they may have better ideas. I'm not going to be someone who walks in and thinks that I'm the smartest person in the room. I'm looking to hear from you.
Early voting here in Wayne County is going extremely well because we got several local contested races. Is it that way across the 11 counties?
It's higher in Wayne County than it is in the others. But you're seeing early voting across the board. I think that some people have predicted that early voting may at some point soon actually pass election day voting, just because of the convenience. Remember, people are working now. They've been working for a while, and it's hard to go to the polls when you've got a 12-hour window, but you're working 8 to 5 at least, and maybe longer. You're seeing early voting really pick up.
We even got our this Saturday's early voting, so
yes,
they're making it convenient for people that work Monday through Friday. So this Saturday from 9 to 4, you can go down to the courthouse and vote. But like I said, we've got 3 local contested races, and every day there's been over 100 plus people going down there to cast their ballots. So it's just been a good turnout thus far. So that has to please you to hear that.
Well, Wayne County is very blessed to have many people who are willing to put their names on the ballot. You don't see that everywhere. So, but that's one thing that's been so impressive, whether it was going to the Taste of Wayne or going to Designer Bag Bingo last Friday. Wayne County shows up and turns out, and you're really a blessed community. All small South Georgia communities can't say that. I think it's something that makes us different.
Tommy, you've been going around within the entire district to help?
Some. I told Blake when we talked about him running, I said, Blake, there's only one request I have, and I won't say it to you. I'll let him tell you what I told him.
He told me, he said, make sure you take care of Wayne County, because Wayne County's been really good to me. He said for 18 years they could have run someone against me. They didn't. So his request, or actually really edict, was make sure you take care of Wayne County.
That's why Senator Williams has been real good to us.
Well, that's why we're here again today, and I thank you for letting me be on here twice in such a short span of time. And I hope that if I'm blessed enough to win this seat, that this isn't something that just we do during election time. I'd love to come on more and continue to talk, because again, I know I'm not the smartest person in the room, and you know your issues better than
in this room you are.
That's very doubtful.
I'm just kidding, Tommy. Just kidding, Tommy. We all know you are.
That's very doubtful.
The first legislative forum, of course, the big topic was the governor's veto. I think you addressed that last time you were here.
Yes, sir.
And most people disappointed with the veto. Tommy, you said you're disappointed. In fact, the entire state's disappointed. They still can't understand why I vetoed the bill, but they said that they won't have a special session. They'll just address it when they get back up in Atlanta. So if you get that seat, how you tackle that?
I disagree with the governor's veto of the RFRA, Religious Freedom Restoration Act. I think you'll see it again, and I look forward to seeing what language we have in it, but you'll see me supporting religious freedom. I don't believe that any person, business, should be forced to do something that's against their deeply held religious beliefs.
And Tom, they interviewed you. If they heard the news, they heard your response. But for those that may not have heard your reaction to that veto, just give you a shot.
I was actually surprised that the governor did that. The bill it's a fairly complicated bill, but most of the Republicans, in fact, I think it might have been unanimous in the House, but most of the Republicans were for it, and for a Republican governor to go against his majority party was pretty unusual.
Do you think because of all the negative publicity in North Carolina that might have affected
North Carolina was about the same time, and the governor got a lot of pressure. But frankly, economic pressure is fairly powerful when the federal government and the businesses said we'll relocate somewhere else. But the Patriots that signed the Declaration of Independence, they knew when they did that they would lose all financial benefits from England. The folks that threw the tea in the harbor, they were throwing away a lot of money and knew that England would cut all commerce off with the city of Boston. But they made the decision that these freedoms are more important than money. And when I look at a professional football game and compare that to religious liberty, it's a pretty easy choice for me. Our liberties are really the only thing we have of any consequence. It allows us to go and to do and to choose like we enjoy. And anyway, I hope that the legislature, I'm afraid that we're losing this battle. And the more years that go by, the more difficult it'll be to protect religious liberty.
Well, 30, 40, 50 years ago, even 20 years ago, just 20 years ago, things that are being said and done today would have never even been thought of possible just a few years ago.
Oh, exactly. Just in the Bush administration, the citizens of Georgia voted that marriage would be between a man and a woman by 70%. And 10 years later, we're states like Alabama are debating on what gender you choose to go into a bathroom. I mean, these are we've had some major changes in our society that are concerning to me. The real concern I have is that the community of faith, the Christian community in particular, are going to suffer persecution for what they actually believe. That's beginning to happen, and it'll happen more as time goes on. I think it's scary.
Blake, May 24th, be here for what's your campaign strategy between now and then? How many, you just travel the district, go to many counties you can, many events you can. Is that what you're doing?
Talk to as many voters as possible. Try to reiterate our message that, listen, if we have low taxes and the infrastructure necessary for jobs to locate here, we can locate them here. And reminding them that I'll be accessible. That's been actually probably the best thing for us. Again, I plug my website on here, www.blaketillery.com. Please send me a message. Go visit it. Feel free to call me. I'll give you my cell phone number again. It's 912-245-9915. When I ran for office in Toombs County, the guys at the coffee shop laughed at me. We have a group kind of like the Liars Club here over in Toombs County. They meet at different locations, and they told me I'd change that number. I'd change it the first week after I got elected, and I didn't, and I haven't, because I do realize that if I can get to your problem and answer your question before you get to the Liars Club or before you get to Hardee's, I've only got one problem. If you get to Hardee's, I might have 12. So I appreciate when people call and let us know what's going on.
We just recently got married. Were you able to take a honeymoon at all? Or?
Yes, sir. We took a honeymoon, and it was good. Like I said, good to marry a Wayne County girl. Had a lot of folks at the wedding. That was fun. And she's awesome. It doesn't matter. Ashley Nicole Shearer. She was a 2009 graduate of Wayne County High School and Miss Wayne County in 2008, I believe.
Okay.
And I doesn't. No matter how this outcome of this election, I've already taken the best thing from Wayne County. So.
Is she out on the campaign trail helping you out?
She's in medical school. Oh. So she's in class. She's actually doing rotations through in different rural hospitals right now. And will be an OB next May, or actually next March.
So, and so how do you do it all, Blake? I mean, first of all, you're an attorney. You're chairman of the county commission there in Toombs County, and you're also a candidate for state senate. I mean, do you get any sleep?
I have a really good wife. That's how I do it. It's definitely been busy right now, but I love people. I love talking to people and being in a position where I can hopefully help people. So I don't know that I could keep up this pace of all three of those gigs for years and years at a time. But I do come off the county commission in December, and if I'm blessed enough by the people of Wayne and surrounding counties, then hopefully I'm able to trade out the county commission job for a senate job.
Tom, you had a great run, 20 years. Are you going to miss it at all, or are you going to just relieved it's over, or some of both?
Some relief. I mean, my biggest issue is that I have younger kids. You know, I've got an 11-year-old and a 9-year-old. They really need my attention, and I love them more than I love the Senate. And so it's fun. I also I'm a rabid entrepreneur, and I love business. And the one thing I'd like to say, though, you know, a lot of people believe that politics is the only way to make a difference. There are thousands of people in my Senate district that are making a huge difference every day. School teachers that are dealing with kids that are troubled, DFACS workers who are dealing with broken families, the court people who work in the court system dealing with the destruction of the family, pastors who are dealing with members who are having tragedy in their life. I mean, there are a lot of other ways to make a difference other than politics, and I intend to continue to make a difference in some way. And you know, life is good. I've been blessed, and so I'll go back to doing the positive things I was doing before I ever got elected. And you know, that's something we should consider. Is what is the person doing before they decided to run for office? Are they making a difference? Are they already involved in their community? Are they trying to change some things for the people before they go into office? Because you really have no record if they haven't. You just hope that they will. Blake is somebody who's very involved in his community. I mean, at 28, he ran for the county commission and did a fabulous job. He's involved in civic clubs and things like that in his church. I mean, you want somebody that is not just saying what they're going to do. They've already done it.
I don't wish any. If you win, you're gonna deal with that traffic in Atlanta. That's a mess.
You know, I'll tell you a story. I remember one time when I
Heritage and had to drive through that, and where the construction's taking place in both the Falcon Stadium and the Brave Stadium. I mean, it was like bumper to bumper traffic. I was like, I tell my sister all the time, how do you deal with that stuff every day? It drives me crazy. That's why I love South Georgia. You know.
I agree. You can an hour to get from Vidalia to here is an hour. An hour in Atlanta might get us from the Braves Stadium to, maybe to exit 250 to get off at 10th Street. I'll tell you a funny story, though, if you got a second about that. When I was 19, I'd worked on Governor Perdue's campaign, and obviously Governor Perdue won. Surprised everyone, and I'd worked with Senator Williams, and I was able to go down to the Capitol. I actually dropped out of Georgia for a semester and went down to the Capitol to work with Senator Williams then. I remember one day, I don't know if he remembers it or not, he grabbed me, he's like, come on, he had on his cowboy boots, and we went and got in his truck and drove because he just wanted to go put his feet on grass, do something different, get out of the city for a little bit, because it's a concrete jungle up there, and their values are different. That's why I hope that I can win this election with the help of Wayne County, so that I can continue to carry South Georgia values the way that Senator Williams has done for 18 years in Atlanta.
Tom, you've been around politics a long time. They're already talking about Georgia being one of these key battlegrounds for the presidential race, between Hillary and Trump. How do you see Georgia's going there?
Georgia will go for Trump.
You think you can beat Hillary in Georgia? Because all the national peoples have her beaten, which I find surprising.
I don't believe that. Here's what my advice, if I had to give advice to Trump. Abraham Lincoln, when he ran a half a dozen times or more before he ever won a race. But what he did, he built, there's a book about it, people ought to read it. It's called Team of Rivals. He took his rivals in his Republican opposition and put them on his cabinet. And he got massive support for it. If Donald Trump had the willingness to say, let's find a place for Rubio, let's find a place for Christie, and there are places there. I mean, Rubio could be the defense, Kasich could be the vice president, put Cruz on the Supreme Court, put Christie at Attorney General. I mean, there are places you could pick where they should go. If he would do that, he could unite the entire Republican Party and win. Now, whether he's willing to do that or not.
It seems like he's already working with Christie, I think.
Yeah, Christie's endorsed him, and of course, there's a few others that have endorsed him. But if he could find, for a Cruz example, most Cruz supporters would be happy if Cruz could be on the Supreme Court. I mean, he wouldn't be dealing with Donald Trump anymore. He'd be
on his own.
He'd be on his own, and it's frankly the place where he's had some success in taking cases there. That's the way to win. I've talked to a few folks that are going to convention to say, hey, there's a way to get at this. It's called a team of rivals.
Do you think that Kasich is his best bet for vice president?
That would take Ohio. That would be my choice, not only for Ohio, but Trump is going to have somebody to work with Congress. And Casey has probably the best record in Congress of making things happen. Okay. And again, it's not beating up the other side. It's actually solving some problems. I think Kasich could go to Congress and say, this is what the president's trying to do. Can we build support? Now, this is all hypothetical, but it is a way to solve the
Just a story to watch. When you think about 17 candidates at the beginning, Trump, no experience whatsoever, the outsider, and the way he went about it and just destroyed one after the other.
Well, it says how frustrated people are.
Yeah, people are frustrated. They're upset with
and they're willing to throw out the entire system. And that's something that we need to remember locally. Listen, you need to be responsive. You need to be willing to hand out your cell phone number. People need to feel like, they don't need to just feel like, you need to listen, because that's how we keep what's happening on the local level. People still feel that they can reach their commissioners. They still feel they can reach the mayor. When it gets to the position that they don't, they'll throw everything out. And I'm right there with them. Listen, hey, if we can't, sometimes you have to break the system because it's so flawed. So
Now, I've had a few questions come in up here this morning. We have just not had the chance to get to them yet. Folks can ask you questions on your website, right, at blaketillery.com.
Yes, they
so
feel free to send me
send in questions.
or call me. I don't mind. Yeah, I'd actually.
Number once again?
It's 912-245-9915.
Okay.
Hey, look, there's a phone call right there.
There's a phone call right there. So you can do that for Blake, and he'll be glad to answer any questions you may have. All right. Anywhere else in Wayne County you going today, or?
I'm sure we'll make it around to several places.
Places today. All right.
Continue. I've been very thankful for the help we've had here. Congressman Lindsey Thomas has been a good friend to me, among many others, and thank y'all for allowing me on your show one more time, and for obviously plugging the campaign. Thank you. I appreciate your time.
Always good to see you. Before you get out of here, we always ask the candidates the one question.
The one question. Here it goes. What is it?
Well, the question is, early voting's underway. When people go in that voting booth, why should they vote for Blake Tillery for Senate seat, District 19?
Well, I hope it's because of the issues we've talked about. They could see that I care about the community. I care about my family. I care about my children that aren't even born yet. And if we don't begin to make decisions today concerning tax policy, infrastructure policy, about our religious freedoms, etc., our children aren't going to have the same opportunities that we have. I hope that we can begin to locate jobs and continue to locate jobs here in Wayne County. We're 30 miles from one of the biggest ports on the East Coast, the one that's growing, actually. Those jobs don't have to continue to travel up I-95 and 341.
And Senator Williams, we look forward to having you back in toward the end of your term and talk about your accomplishments and your future and so forth. You've been a very important part of Wayne County for so many years. All right, is that it, Bob?
That's it.
All right, Blake,
thank you
Tommy,
so very
thanks
much.
for coming in. All right, 105.5 FM in Jessup, Big Dog Country, WIFO, and that's the world famous Butch and Bob Show, brought to you by Parker Insurance and Realty on Macon Street in downtown Jessup, across from the Heritage Bank. Also brought to you by Jessup Premium Storage out here the Waycross Highway, and by Mike Birch Ford in Blackshear. The time now is 8:33. Coming up soon, we got your weather forecast coming your way. Stay tuned. You've heard of Run for the Roses. Well, this Saturday, May 14th, you'll have the opportunity to run for the donuts. And Solid Rock Christian Academy is having the Donut Dash, a fun event for the entire family. The Donut Dash is a fun run for children ages 4 through 12, and parents are encouraged to participate with their child. All proceeds from the Donut Dash will go to Solid Rock Christian Academy's Building Fund. This fun event will take place on the grounds of Solid Rock Christian Academy, 1580 Sunset Boulevard at Unity Church of God, and registration